Okay, the first section has now been covered on the 8 points regarding any new venture development process, and we covered the product service concept. Now we're going to get into the second major aspect of the new venture process, and that involves the market. Now when you think about the market, and you think about these 8 points, remember these relate to everything you're going to express in your executive summary, and they'll also work with all aspects of the business plan, section by section. And ultimately this becomes the foundation for your presentation to investors and to any partners who might want to venture with you. Now when we think about the market, the big aspect that you have to start with is twofold. Are you working with a really large market, or are you working with more of a niche market? Now if you're targeting, here's your product service concept, and you're targeting it into the marketplace, you're either looking for a specific niche, or you're looking for broader acceptance across several different facets of the market, here, 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 and here. And that's really going to have a huge impact on how investors view your product and your service and what it is you're going to do in terms of your competitive advantage. Because a market that is a small niche really only needs a very specific, finely tuned value proposition to be made. And that is aimed at a very specific but smaller target group within the larger market. However, if you're working for more of a market penetration strategy, obviously you have to have something that has broad appeal, and there have to be lots and lots and lots of users. So the two general categories that work out in the marketplace are either the niche strategy or the penetration strategy. And so market penetration is all about the depth within which you can get your product into lots and lots of users at various levels within the market, and that this is sufficiently broad enough with numerous applications, perhaps both commercial, retail, maybe even on the wholesale end. Now as you think about your presentation of the market, the main thing that investors want to see and what you have to be able to produce is a couple of key items. Number one, or we'll call this A, how many users? And so you need to have a number. Is it 200 million potential users? Is it 50 million potential users? Is it 100,000 users? Is it just users in the West Coast? Is this product only aimed at cold weather climates? Is this product just for agricultural applications and so forth? So you have to be very specific about how many users are out there. And then B, you have to be able to define then, so what are the sales that are represented by those number of users? And of course, inferred in how many users and what the sales look like, inferred in between that is the price at which you'll be charging for this product or service. So again, your goal is to clearly delineate whether or not you're going with a more targeted, narrow, and smaller niche strategy, or whether you're going for something that has broad appeal in several facets, several segments of a large, either national or global or regional marketplace. And ultimately defining how many users you have and what the sales would be on those users relative to some kind of a targeted price that you have put into your plan. Now the next segment that we'll look at in the next module is still part of the market, but I want to delineate just a few subcomponents of how that market works. And so we'll put those in a separate module. In closing out the market, what do you think are the most key things you'd like to be able to represent in your business plan, your executive summary? You'd like to be able to show that there is a lot of room for growth. There's a lot of room on many, many levels for this product to have success. So ultimately your rule of thumb is if the market is fairly narrow, relatively small, only a specific niche group really has need of it, that doesn't defeat the long-term feasibility, viability of the product or the service that you have. But it certainly is going to have some limitations with regard to comparing it to another business opportunity that has broad appeal, lots of markets, lots of users, various compatibility with different products in the system and so forth. So again, you need to be able to define two key things: how many users and what kind of sales could this market potentially have.